I just want to say, y'all kind of pretty. Look, let's not keep the camera on them. I want to be looking good. Y'all making me look bad. Y'all too attractive.
That is true. You're all way too attractive.
Yeah, far too attractive. Can we get a new... No? Okay. All right.
Malcolm, thanks so much for being here, man. Congratulations. You got a lot going on right now.
Yeah, I'm trying. Is this water? This is my first one, y'all. I ain't even gonna lie. Like,
That's
is
water.
This water?
That's water.
All right, that's good.
I guarantee it. No, sorry, no, it's water. It's water.
Right, sure,
I don't know why I felt the need to do that to you. Talk to me about working on Rebel. John Singleton, one of the great filmmakers, we've ever had. What's it like working with him?
I mean, he's an auteur. Like, he's John fucking Singleton, right? So I guess working on the show, first and foremost, was one of the most interesting experiences because it was my first time working on television. So that was interesting, but it didn't feel like it because I guess with TV now, the freedom of the form allows for it to be more cinematic. And that's like perfect for like John. Like, y'all, everybody in here seen Boys in the Hood, right? Too Fast, Too Furious, right? So like everything he does is big and large and has character and charisma. And so not even speaking on the fact that I'm an LA native and a South Central native, that alone in itself was like, okay, all right, I don't want to suck. All right, because this might go down in history and people may quote this. I got to try not to suck. But once you get beyond that, you start to find out that he's really just the chillest dude ever. He's really just the epitome of an LA person, a native, who's just like, yo, come, be natural, be authentic, and let's get it. And because it's Oakland, he wanted everything to be so Oaktown. So I didn't even get to use none of my South Central LA-ness to portray the character.
Did you find yourself off camera trying to like prove to him that you were from South Central LA, like throwing in things from the neighborhood?
I'm like, yo, man, we should go hit Master Burger. No, I didn't do that.
Get it. We're in Oakland though, but I get it. It's nice.
Well, technically, I knew him before. He's kind of reared me in my process as a young artist, and he's kind of been helpful since he met me since I was like 16.
How so? How did you meet him?
That's a long story, but the short abridged version is, I guess the Sparks Notes version is I worked at Sony Pictures for like 5 years on a fluke. Like, for some reason, God saw fit for me to end up on Sony's lot because I was sneaking on, and, and then eventually I ended up working there. It was crazy. And then the head of physical production, Gary Martin, is like fostered the careers of like Robert Rodriguez and like minority filmmakers and John Singleton himself. So one day he just kept on bugging him. Like, you need to meet this kid. He's the next you. You need to, like, because he just couldn't set the bar high. He's like, yo, he gonna be the next you. And I was like, bro, chill. Just tell him I want to say hi. And one day John caved in because he's seen an article of mine on New York Times. So he's a bit of a like, okay, this kid's serious. Let me at least say what's up.
What was the article?
It was a New York Times article on the first film I ever did. I was 17, and it was about the racial tensions between blacks and Latinos in the streets and how it spilled over to kids who were being bussed out to other schools because at the time, in 2005, there was an order sent down from a Mexican gang and the initiation process was to take out a black male youth. And it was a big deal in 2005, and nobody in the cities north of the 10 was talking about it. So I lost a lot of friends, a lot of family. It was the first major conflict between the West Side Gang and like a third world kind of gang. And it was serious. So so my expression was filmed. So that's what I did. And so somebody did an article edit on it, and I ended up. Yeah, this is weird. I don't know why I'm talking about this right now.
It's amazing. I'm glad you're talking about it.
Yeah.
This is what you're here for, is to answer these questions. That's cute. Well, I'm curious. I'm going to stick on this film for a second. Because I don't know about the film. How did you make this? Was it a feature film?
Yeah, it was a feature. It was
a documentary, or was it a fiction?
It was a drama. It was a Well, it was based on real life events that happened to me and my friends, which was like when these conflicts started happening, a lot of the older men in the neighborhood had got locked up. So because of raids and like, we had this thing called gang injunction in Los Angeles. I don't know if it happened in any other states, but here in California, when it happened, it was pretty big. So like people just were going down for nothing. Being affiliated, which is the most ambiguous term I've ever heard in my life. Everybody's affiliated with something. So we had these young dudes out here who didn't have no kind of guidance or wisdom, and then we got into a conflict with a huge, massive gang. And it swept the whole neighborhood, whether you were gangbanging or not. And people ended up dead. And so I wrote this script about my best friend when he passed because he was slain pretty gruesomely, and it changed my path kind of. It made me kind of reassess what I wanted from my life as a young black male teen and as a young teen, period.
What was your writing process like at that age when you started writing?
I was pretentious, so I thought I was like...
How did you find...
you think you know everything, so you're like, oh, man, of course, I'm just going to write Godfather 2 right now. And making some hood shit, so you don't know better. So you just write from a pure passion. So the font might be all fucked up and the alignment might be all weird, but the passion is there. And I think I had a sense of prose, so I was good with words. So it kind of worked.
So now you're so now you're working on the studio lot, which the Sony lot, which you've basically snuck on.
Yeah.
You've got this film that the New York Times has written up, and now you meet John Singleton. And what is that conversation like?
That conversation was, I'm in the middle of math class at Dorsey High School, and I get a call on my cell phone, and my teacher goes, go out the class and don't come back. And I'm like,
was there a moment where they were like, Mr. Mays, please put your cell phone away? And you're like, it's fucking John Singleton. Please take it.
It was more like, yo, who this? My teacher yelling at me like, yo, get out the class. I'm like, give me a second. Yo, what's up? I think it's my cousin playing on my phone. And he's like, I'm John Singleton. I'm like, all right, bro, peace. All right, don't worry, keep going. He's like, no, get out the class. So I got kicked out the class. And then the call kept on coming through. So I'm like, yo, stop playing, Trey. Stop playing. I will fight you. And he's like, this is John Singleton, and I'll fight you too. And I'm like, oh, shit. Oh, hey, how you doing? You know, the bass went out my voice. Hey, hi. Oh, man, I love your work. He's like, listen, can you come to the Skirball Museum? Bring your mama. I said, for sure. And he screened a film called The Landlord by Hal Ashby.
Great movie. It's a
perfect movie.
Amazing movie.
Beautiful, about like this white dude who go live in the projects with black people, and they super. And it's funny as hell. And it's so John.
What made him screen that movie for you think?
I think he screened it for I think it just happened to be a gala night.
Oh, okay.
He's a bit of a cinephile, which is why I think we get along, because deep down under all the hood shit, we like nerds. So like we connect, right? So I brought my mama, and he brought his kids, and it just became a familial thing where he was just kind of perplexed at how I still existed. He was like, how are you here? I thought there was only like one of me. And it was interesting. And I was just braggadocious and just kind of gregarious and just excited. And he saw that, and he took an interest and was like, yo, I'm going to take you to meet the head of USC Film School and all this other stuff. And he just kind of fostered he was really a father figure for me. And
then you start, when did acting become a part of it? Or were you acting in your first film?
Yeah, I was acting in my first, I was trying to be like Warren Beatty or some shit. I don't know what I was doing. I was like
the actor, director,
right?
Producer,
Yeah, do everything.
Writer,
I'm acting.
I'm the star.
I don't know any better. I'm gonna get out there. I'm gonna direct it. You know, like it was crazy. And we shot on film, so we were really stupid. But it worked out okay. And I think the film would have had to have been like genius for people to be like, all right, we're gonna keep fucking with this kid. But it was just good. And it was at a time where the industry took a turn for like the globalization of like the marketplace. And we didn't have no stars, no names. I just had my homie like, hey, yo, CK Romeo, you want to be in this? Nutcase, you want to be in this? Like all the gang members in the neighborhood, y'all want to come? And they're like, oh, we don't have to like rob or shoot people? Yeah, we'll go. And it was my homies, they was my friends, and it was something productive. And they knew that I was always trying to do something productive. So ironically, they pushed me to like do things that were positive. Like, hey, you don't need to be here. You don't need this. Go do that. So it was really a positive process. And
that happens. Once you start, no matter what the group of people are that you hang out with, once you start showing a certain amount of ambition that may be higher than what they're trying to achieve, they will push you. There is something that is exciting about some member of the group that ends up sort of going into a different direction.
Basically, I was a ghetto Matt Damon in... I'm just kidding. I'm like...
There, Will Hunting.
I was there good. I was the hood Will Hunting is what it was.
That's good.
No, I'm not nearly as smart.
It sounds like a Wayans Brothers parody of Good Will Hunting.
The Wayans Brothers? Yeah. Yo, you
Hood
funny.
Will Hunting.
You a funny dude. That's hilarious. They're genius, by the way. But
yeah. So now you have this. You have Rebel, and you have the show on FX that you're doing as well called Snowfall. Tell everybody about Snowfall.
Yeah. So I'm an indentured servitude to John Singleton. So I'm his slave.
Is this a Singleton show as well?
Yes. Snowfall is also a Singleton show. I've worked with other people, I promise. But no, he's just been on a roll. So he like asked me to come and contribute to Snowfall, ironically. And it's just been the most...
Contributing as an actor?
Yeah, as an actor this time. And it was kind of the most fun process ever, because you get to learn about how the crack epidemic hit not only South Central Los Angeles, but the greater America. And how the government was a major part of why this happened. The Contras and, you know, the plotting and the proxy wars and everything that's happening now, you know, the shadow wars between governments and using it to fund things and then blaming it on a subjugated group of people because it's easier to vilify and victimize people. Like Mandy said earlier on your show. It's easier to...
You here for that?
I was... Man, that was
wild,
true.
right?
Bro, he might as well be Malcolm X. Yo. Mandy Patinkin for president, he was lit. Like, basically, funny, as it relates to Snowfall is literally about government interference on behalf of their interest, and then having to vilify somebody so that whatever mistakes they make get placed on us as a people, as a populace. And that's crazy. And it's told in an extremely entertaining way. That's why I think Snowfall is going to be so big. Is because it's like if Michael Bay decided to like tell a story about some socially conscious topic, and it's been extremely interesting because I had to do research, right? Like I had to go back to my mom, my grandma, her friends, my pops, his friends, and dig up these dark memories where there was this turn and shift in black culture in California specifically because there was upward mobility for black people between the 70s and early 80s. We was doing good. Shit was happy. There wasn't no bars on the windows. Wasn't like I grew up with bars on the windows, bars in my school, police stations in the school. I grew up with that. But they were like, no, we were happy. Shit was great. And then crack happened. And I'm like, oh, so you mean when I play this, I'm not going to be this rough and tumble kid? They were like, nah, you grew up on Jackson 5. You good. You know, like, you got to remember, Thriller was, like, not Thriller, Up Against the Wall was out. Mike was becoming a pop star. Black people were great. We were finally being accepted into it was dope. And then Nancy Reagan got on television and was like, listen.
Deindustrialization, the war on crime, the war on drugs, the war on poverty, yeah.
Deindustrialization happened all throughout the community, which is why they have these huge structures that used to build cars in the middle of the hood, and then they're gone, so we had all these empty buildings. It's crazy. And you just get to experience that and research that as a young man and just learn what you thought was kind of wrong. You know,
you stop a community from fighting for a greater piece of the pie to fighting each other for the smallest piece of the pie that they could possibly get.
Yeah, for lack of a better term, crabs in a bucket. But it was created. It was a systemically created problem, which I'm not even surprised at this point. I love my country, but it's also we all like when you grow up and you find out your parent used to like do drugs and shit and drink and get drunk, and you're like, oh shit, mom, you did that? And you're like, yeah, but I like read books too, and you know, you accept your country for who it is. And you love it, and you try to make it better just like it tried to make you better. Because there's some beautiful things that happen in this country. I got a free education.
I love this country because the First Amendment of this country is what allows me to say this right now about this country.
Facts.
So that's why I love this country.
Yeah.
So who do you play on Snowfall?
I play Kevin, and he's I was going to say a wrong word. He's a buffoon. He's a fool. He's like the ladies' man. He's like money-making Mitch without the money. He's just like bopping around. He's fashion forward, everything clean. He's that one dude in the hood who mama probably worked at the postal office, so she had a good job, but they lived in the hood. So he had nice shoes, but they didn't have no real money, so he's still in the hood. And he's like one of the first friends. He's one of the last friends to get on the selling drugs train, although he's more aware of it than the other two are. So he's like knowledgeable, but he's kind of like, yo, like, I'm down to get money whenever we can get money. How can we get money out of this? And when selling cocaine isn't doing it, they bust it down and it becomes crack. And then he's kind of like, let's make this. I'll industrialize this. And he's a bit of an obsessive compulsive and a bit of a sociopath. So later I think he ends up probably partaking more in the fun than he should have. Yeah.
Now, you're going to perform a song for us in a few minutes. When did music become a big part of your life in terms of being a performer?
I mean, for me, my mother and my grandmother just was like, listen, there's a whole lot of negative externalities out here. We just going to put you in as much programs as we can to keep you out of trouble. It didn't work, but I got to learn how to.
Good parenting.
It was. They're brilliant, and I love them, and they're everything to me. They called me while I was backstage, but it caused me to have to express myself in different ways. I couldn't paint, I couldn't draw, so all I had was performance, and was writing, creation, in whatever form that took. So, and it turned out I didn't suck that bad, so I just kept at it, and it's a way I kind of express myself, because people, I think, feel you when there's a rhythm or there's a beat or there's a harmony. It's the one reason I think black people have been accepted in this country.
When did you start performing musically for an audience?
Well, I came from an old school type of training, so like, not that I was super trained, but I remember we had AGC Studios, which is Amazing Grace Conservatory, which was started by Wendy Raquel Robinson, and it produced the kid from Moonlight. It produced me. Like, we had to sing, dance, take voice. Like, she wasn't playing, because she came from that school where you had to be a triple threat. Like that Debbie Allen kind of, Felicia Rashad. Like, you had to sing, you had to dance, and you had to act. And that's just what you had to do. So
Can you like tap? If you were like at a party and you were
I
like,
used to be able to tap, bro. On my mom, I could.
That is, in my opinion, that is the coolest thing about triple threats is the ability to potentially pull out tapping at any point. Tapping is so wildly underrated and amazing.
But if you don't stick at it, bro, you're gonna fail. Like right now, I'm cool, but I ain't even gonna play. Like Eliza Bennett, who's like this British girl who was on like a movie with me called Haters, which was whatever, but it was fun. She's now on a TV show on MTV, and she can tap her ass off like Sammy Davis. Like, and I felt like, wait, hold on, I am not representing right now. Like, you out here killing it, but it's a universal thing. Like anybody can tap. You dexterous. You can do anything really. Like you could probably play banjo if you want it, because you just crazy dope. And I was
tapping so cool.
Yeah, I was moderately good. I ain't gonna lie.
Let's get some questions from these guys out here. Who's got right here?
Hey, Malcolm, how's it going? Getting to work with John Singleton, was there anything that you got to learn from him on set? And is there like any other filmmakers that you want to work with?
Yeah, I mean, it's a grip. Number one, what I learned from John is feeling. It's like sometimes, like thinking of Ibsen and Odets and a bunch of random, pompous, really dope writers, that's all cool. Subtext is cool, but sometimes you just want to grab the audience by the throat. And that's the source of entertainment. Like he reminded me that we are here to entertain first and foremost. And then you can educate after because you got their ears. So that was like something I picked up because I was always like, how can I make this deep and raw and be on some Mandy Patinkin shit? Like, he's like, listen, it's like, listen, sir, are they listening? Are they engaged? Are they happy? Are they laughing? Are they crying? Are they mad at what you did? Like, do that. And that's what I think John just embodies. Directors I'd like to work with, man, Paul Thomas Anderson, Wong Kar-wai.
Wong Kar, man.
He's super lit.
He's amazing.
It's so dope. There's a list, bro.
You notice all the Wong Kar-wai sort of references in Moonlight?
Of course, because that's what Barry loved foreign film, like foreign cinema, like and then
the whole last act in the diner is like right out of a Wong Kar-wai film.
And Jordan Peele now tight. I'm fucking with Jordan Peele because Get Out was hilarious. Y'all saw Get Out? That shit was lit, right? So now he's a genius. I'm gonna fuck with him. Cause you know what I'm saying?
Ian Peele didn't prove that to you?
No. No, I don't care what nobody said. Dave Chappelle, like at some point, it's not that they were bad. The fact is, Dave Chappelle is almost Richard Pryor good. He's George Carlin good. You just don't play with that. You can't commodify that. You can't play with that. You gotta let that live. Like me coming up after Mandy Patinkin trying to talk about the Syrian refugee conflict, I'm leaving that alone. He did a great job. I could do okay. Nah, Mandy. I'm just gonna refer Mandy. Mandy, but
Mandy at one point when he got into the Syrian refugee conflict, he started talking at 14 minutes on the clock. When he finished, and I looked at the clock, there were 2 minutes left. It was unbelievable. He just went for it.
And I was back there going, I don't care if they call me. Does he want more of my time? But that's what people like directors and auteurs make you feel. Artists make you feel, and that's all I want to work with. So like, there's a whole list. David Robert Mitchell, he did It Follows. That's tight. Like, and there's some female directors who I really wouldn't want to mess with, like who are just super, super duper dope. There's a bunch of man. There's too many. But yeah, thank you for asking. That's late.
Next question.
Hi, how are you?
What's happening?
So, musically, who's like an inspiration to you? And if you could describe, if there was one song to describe you right now, like in this moment, what song would it be?
One song to describe me? You a asshole. You knew what you was doing. You gonna put me in a corner? Nah. Musically, man, if I could be on some like, there's so many people I admire. I think my favorite like writer, like lyricist, might be like George Martin. He was like the fifth Beatle. Like he arranged all that shit. Like he don't get no credit, but he's a beast. And then there's like that one dude who wrote everything for Elton John. He's a beast. Like you just don't hear about him.
I just listened to George Harrison's solo album over the weekend. All Pass, right?
Bruh.
And that's George Martin and Phil Spector,
Yes,
isn't it?
Phil Spector's stupid.
Oh
I mean,
my
crazy,
God.
but he tight. Like, there's too many. There's too many people. But like, if I had to say, embodying everything, El Boogie got it. Lauryn Hill all day. If I could just have as much talent in my pinky as she has in her whole entire existence, I'll be the most dominant. Like, she lit. And we haven't really, I mean, we have a lot of artists actually in that similar vein now, but the platform is hard to get. So she's my biggest inspiration. El Boogie is D'Angelo, and of course, like, but low-key Maxwell was lit too. Like, Embryo was a brilliant album, even though my mama played The Sweet all the time. So if I had to say a song that embodies me right now, it probably would be Know These Things by Maxwell or damn. See, but like if I had to like, it's gonna be something ratchet. Y'all okay with the really ratchet? Like, Ballad of a Dead Soldier by Tupac, period. Hands down.
I think we have time for one more question right here.
Hi. So with that being said, your inspirations, what would your dream collaboration be? And would you stray from your normal style of music, or would you be open to maybe trying something new?
I am a whore. I don't care. If you tight, like, in my currency that you have to pay me in is dopeness. If you dope, like, I don't, like, there's just certain random people who I think, like Carly Rae, what's her name?
That album is so good.
She why is that album so good? Like, I don't care how hood you are. When you listen to that album, your heart is gonna melt and you gonna fuck with her. Like, I'll fuck with her. She's so tight. Like,
I had weeks of convincing people that album was so good, and they were like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" And I'm like, no, you'll put it on, you will dance, you will be so happy.
I'm strong in my masculinity. Carly, you could call. I'm with that. Like, no, honestly, I'm my dream collaboration, I think, would be somewhere between, like, there's just so many people, right? Like, Pino Palladino, the bassist, because he just makes everything smooth. There's a kid named Oshi on SoundCloud right now who I'm obsessed with. Lito, he lit. I'm just mentioning random people that nobody cares about, but fuck. Who's really, really dope? Then you got your basics. Timbaland, Pharrell, like, they made everything. Like, they made, Justin Timberlake tight. Like, that's what I don't care. If you tight, I'll fuck with you. I don't care what you do or who you are. Like, ooh, Ed Sheeran's tight. Undeniably tight.
Hard pass.
Hard pass?
Hard pass.
Boy, you tripping. He can rap and play the guitar at the same damn time. At the same.
Hard pass.
You hate
it.
You hate
I get it, everybody.
Boy.
Hard pass.
Man, we was cool 10 seconds. Me and you could have kicked it, had a beer after if I drank. We could have done that, but you not.
Started play that Ed Sheeran song. And I'd be like, dude, come on. We're grown men. Come on.
Last night you were in my room. He got like an accent when he sing, and it's still tight.
John Mayer.
He's all four Beatles in one person.
Get the fuck out of here.
In one person.
How dare you?
Ringo didn't have rhythm. Ed Sheeran has rhythm.
I don't even care that much
I'm
about
kidding.
protecting
I'm just
the
kidding.
Beatles' legacy.
I'm
but
kidding.
come on.
I'm completely kidding, guys. He's tight, though. Let's be real.
All four monkeys.
You know what? Jack Nicholson would be cool with you saying that, but I'm not cool with you saying that. No. Ed Sheeran's tight. He could have like backup played for the Beatles, and it would have sounded okay. It would have been cool.
He's really talented.
Yeah, what we talking about here?
I don't particularly love the brand of music, but I will say I get it when
my
mom...
favorite artist right now who I want to work with, Ed motherfucking Sheeran. That's who I want. Ed Sheeran, Bang My Line. I'm going to make you a classic, dog. We going to do this. He's going to make the classic. I'm going to sing backup vocal.
I wouldn't listen to it, but I get it when my mom and grandma say, he's so talented. I get it.
The level of disrespect from this man. Yo, oh my
Sharon,
mama, you not
coming at you, Sharon.
Sheeran,
Coming at you.
Oh, my God. You guys are crazy.
Also, Ed Sheeran, come to Build anytime. There are other hosts who will give you a wonderful interview. Do not take this as representative of the entire brand.
See, that's why they hired you, because you can CYA all day. Yeah. Ed Sheeran, that's going to be our new single, CYA. That's what we
Malcom, man, it's been really fun talking to you. Rebel is on BET right now. When can
is.
people expect to see Snowfall?
I don't have an exact date, and you're not going to get me fired, so Snowfall going to happen in the summer. When it's hot, you'll know that Snowfall is coming.
And you're going to perform for us. Where can people hear your music?
SoundCloud, online, Malcom Mays. That's 2 L's, like, you'd be surprised how many black people misspell Malcolm. It's kind of hilarious, but Malcolm, and then May with an S at the end.
Malcom Mays, everybody. Thanks, man.